Hey gents, thanks for stopping by. Joe here. If you want to subscribe, it's iPilot 4411. Today, we're going to be talking about the Trex 700 and its yearly maintenance. I didn't get too busy with it this past summer. I did have a couple of flights on it that I didn't post. So all in all, maybe 4 flights on this. But I did put it through some paces, so it does need some sort of maintenance. And I'll be going over the DFC head on this. And let me move this out of the way. I don't know why I just slid it right in my. And I'll be going through the DFC head on it and the pros and cons of having a DFC. I know it was the big craze for a little while there. Let's get right into it. So if you had some sort of busy flight year last year, flying year, you do want to pull up the motor and grease the bearings in here, top and bottom. I'm not going to do that because the flying year that I had really wasn't spectacular. Like I said, I may have had 4 flights on this, but if you had, like 10 flights on yours, pull this rascal out, grease those bearings. So all 3 bearings you want to grease. You also want to check your links. Make sure that they're not brittle. That's a good thing to do because sitting over time, they do get brittle and dry out. And the next thing you know, when you're pulling some sort of trick maneuver, they'll let go on you, pull off, and that's when you have a little issue there. But what I really want to talk about here is the head. So what I'm going to do is pull the blades off and we'll get right into the head. So I got the blades removed, and I also threw a battery in here just to keep it from tipping back because, without the blade weight on it, it likes to. If you ever did own a fly-barred helicopter and you ran out, you grabbed a new one because you wanted fly-barless, and it turns out that it wasn't DFC, you were kind of disappointed. I know, I was. When I first got the Fusion 50 and I was like, oh man, this ain't DFC. It's fly-barless, but it's not DFC. I was kind of disappointed. But it turns out that the fly-barless helicopter with DFC head has a few issues. Okay, so now that the head is relatively dismantled, what you should do is make sure that the feathering shaft doesn't have an excessive amount of play inside the bushings. And I'll show you an exaggerated case of excessive play and what would happen and how you would receive catastrophic failure. So I've loosely assembled the head minus some hardware, the bushings and some washers. Now this is an exaggerated case of worn bushings, but it's exaggerated so that you can see where the problem lies with worn bushings. So if the bushings are worn, obviously you're going to have some deflection in the grips. And along with that deflection, because DFC head is so rigid, when you have deflection, this control arm right here, where you will find your motion, right in here. This bolt right here is going to get fatigued, and you're going to lose this bolt. It's going to snap from metal fatigue, and you know what's going to happen once that snaps. You won't have any control over that blade, and catastrophic failure. So there's always been an issue with DFC. I mean, it was cool. It was cool. Don't get me wrong. It was cool. But there's always been an issue with it. And you know who knew there was an issue with it? Thunder Tiger. Thunder Tiger knew there was an issue with DFC, so they stuck with their original setup. Their original setup is tried, it's proven, and Nick Maxwell says it. He says that Thunder Tiger has a formula. It works. Why change it? It looks old school. With the mixing arms or whatever, I forgot what the follower arms or the swash driver arms. DFC is mad cool if you're flying at warp 3. Warp, that's a little exaggerated. Warp 1. If you're flying warp 1, DFC is mad cool with that high head speed. If you're doing that smack 3D, DFC, that thing is so rigid. It's every input you put into that radio is translated immediately to the head, and this rascal is going to be reacting along with your thumb. Let those bushings start to wear out, those dampeners start to wear out in the head, and then your characteristics starts to change. Flight to flight to flight to flight. And I'm not bashing DFC because I'm not going to change this. It is what it is. I'm not going to put in the other head that Align came out with for the new 760, is it? And for the new 700, what is it, the X? I can't remember what it's called. But I'm not going to change the head to that. This is what it is, and it's going to stay. I don't slam it. I don't do 3D, heavy 3D. You see how I fly. I fly like, because on my 550, I have a DFC head. And I'm not going to change it now. But the thing is, you have to stay on top of the maintenance on these. It is what it is. So that's basically it, guys. I still have to put the blades on and do a couple of other things to it. Even if you never had a crash and you do heavy or hard 3D with your bird, you may want to change your blades. If you use them all for a couple of seasons now, like these are the original blades that came with this. Fortunately, I've never crashed, but it always happens, regardless. Either it's mechanical failure or. But these are my original blades, and I haven't changed them because I don't do. You see how I fly. I just take it easy and it just glides through the air. But if you do heavy, hardcore 3D, and you may want to change your blades if you haven't changed them for a couple of seasons now, only because they get that micro fractures, and all you need is one good hard stop, and your blades may fold on you, or it may break at the root. Thank you for dropping by, guys. If you want to subscribe, it's iPilot 4411, 2 T's at the end of pilot. Got to get rid of that. Thank you. See you next time. Peace. Cheers.